Hello, this is Betsy and welcome to another Minecraft video tutorial on horses. Today we are going to be doing some horse trials, racing some horses and finding out which ones are the fastest. I've got a bunch of them saddled, so let's get going. So I've made a race course that is 100 blocks long, and so we'll run down this track, and that's the halfway mark right there, and at the finish line then our time will be recorded down to the 10th of a second. So let's go and get our first horse. I've saved some over here. We've done some trials already, and we've got a couple folks that are hanging around making sure that they don't despawn again, because that's a real pain to try and get the horses to get the right color again. So let's get this guy out of here and we'll start our first trial. So here we go. You can see the clock is running on the right hand side. He's going to be pretty slow. At halfway mark he's looked like he was going to be about 12. Yep, 12 seconds on the nose. That's pretty slow. So this was our gray, I think, or gray with stockings. I think it was solid gray. I know the black is next. It was sort of a medium. Here. They won't go through gates, so it's problematic right now to get them in and out of pens. I was actually knocking down the fences for a while, so we've reset, and now you can see clock is running again. And he's faster. He's going to be closer to 10 seconds. I'm going to run it quite straight, but 9.8. So much faster. That's the solid black. Put him away. I'll show you when we're done running some of these. The stopwatch timer I've got set. It was the Sethbling one. He did a video on it. Have it storming while we're racing. Not a fast track. So this guy, this is the buckskin solid, I think, and this guy's got wheels. I think he's the fastest, one of the fastest times, not the fastest. 8.4 seconds. So we had, what was that first one, 12? So shaving almost 4 seconds off the time. Let's go get that fast one. Now you guys probably already know that to break the horses, you make sure you don't have anything in, if you've got something in your hands when you click on them, they rear. So make sure your hands are empty and click on them, they'll throw you off and until they're tamed, and then they'll have little hearts like taming a wolf, and then you can get off and saddle them. Once you saddle them, you can't unsaddle them right now. So before, when I was doing the video on the different colors, I actually had to go back and remove some of the horses that were saddled so that we could see the colors better. So here's the fastest one. This is the, I think, gray with stockings, and you can see he's super fast. Oh, not exactly appropriate music. So sedentary for the fastest horse time of 7. So this is a second faster even than that last one. So 7.4. That's the fastest one of the ones I've tested so far. Put that closed. But then I wanted to show you. Oops. So I was space barring. They'll rear when you do that, and the jumping, that'll be next. But I wanted to show you something that I discovered that's kind of a bummer. So let's get on this brown one and we'll get his time. So this is with the solid brown. So we'll have our time clear and then start. So he's not going to be terribly fast. It's like, yeah, over 10 seconds. Yeah, 11.6. Pretty slow. It wasn't our slowest time, like 12. So 11.6 seconds. We've got a down to the 10th of a second stopwatch here that's working finally. So yeah, so then my hubby, he's Bally 12, he's hanging around over here. He suggested that we try another horse of the same color and make sure that we get the same result. Now, because of the video describing the horse breeds and their attributes, I had assumed that the speeds and attributes would stay consistent with the colors. Otherwise, how could you call it a breed? Because I'm not finding any consistency amongst markings, and I'm not finding any consistency amongst colors. But this was 10. Not even close. I mean, I've run trials before, you know, several trials for the same horse, and it's varies only by 1/10 of a second. I mean, I can run this guy again and you can see, so well, I won't because what I know. So I logged this yesterday, I guess it was, early in the morning when we discovered this. I actually went on Mojang and logged it as a bug because I assumed, you know, again, that since they were describing these as, you know, having different attributes by breed, that made me assume that you could look at a horse and go, oh, well, that's the gray horse with the stockings, that's a breed, or all of the solids are a breed. There's no consistency, so I opened this ticket and was surprised to get a response back that the attributes spawn randomly. So if you get into a world and you want to find the fastest horse, you're basically going to have to go and set up a racetrack and start testing them and just do a comparison and find out yourself which horse. When I come back into these worlds, they don't randomly spawn like cattle colors. We've got texture packs, and it seemed like every time you came back into the game, you'd have a black cow on one version of the game, and you'd come back in later after you'd saved it, reopen the game, and it'd be a completely different color. These are staying consistent. Well, you've seen I've come in and out of this game several times, and the colors, they don't change. They're despawning, but they don't change. You know, once you find a horse that's super fast, you know, as long as you keep him, he's not going to change when you come in and out of the game. But yeah, they're random. So I don't know why they said different breeds have different attributes, because different horses have different attributes. There's no breed, there's no rhyme or reason to it. So big bummer, I thought. Let me quickly show you this stopwatch thing. It's really cool. So this was the Sethbling video on command blocks and how to make a stopwatch timer. Oh, let me clear my time. And then these are the command blocks then that work in conjunction with that. So that's the actual timing mechanism itself, and it's really easy to set up. I'll put a link to his video below, and I'll put a link to these command. You can't copy this, and it's kind of long, and I was having to jump back and forth but you can, once you've copied, set something copied in your own system, you can jump back. So I actually have a notepad text file open down below that you can't see, that I've got these different commands, and so I'll jump out of here really quick and go copy one and then come back and paste it in there. So those two are exactly the same, and the way that this works is this redstone timer, you can see it flashing, and it's flashing every 1/10 of a second, and the way that it's set up, it's alternating. So this one gives it a point every 1/10 of a second, and this one gives it a point every 1/10 of a second. So when I cross this command block here, and this is a tripwire, and here's this score, so it basically it sets my time in that command back there, said any player or the nearest player that has a timing of at least 1 start accumulating points. So once I cross this line, it registers that I have a point, and now those timers are registering. And then down at the end there's another one that's the same command block, only instead of saying set it to 1, it says set it back to 0. So of course then my timing is 0, and it stops the clock. And then this command block here clears me out and resets it. So I'll put these commands down below so that you can copy them over if you want to, because everybody's going to, if you want to know which horse is the fastest, the only way that you can tell is by setting up a racetrack and doing some trials. Because, you know, I was thinking after this test I could tell you, oh yeah, the gray Appaloosa, that's the fastest breed of horse in all of Minecraft. Yeah, you're not going to be able to tell. So anyway, this was a fun trial, but kind of a bummer outcome. I was really hoping that I could kind of do a little lineup of the different breeds and their different attributes. You know, we can still, I'll come back in a little bit and kind of show you, you know, sort of the range. I'm going through all of them one by one, and doing the trials and recording their times here. So if he'd move, you can see we've got, what, 12.2. He was really slow. I can't remember how fast this guy was. Everybody's standing in front of their sign. Anyway, so I've got all of the times recorded, and I can kind of, oh, 9.9, he was much faster. So yeah, so we can see how they line up in this world with these horses. But you know, when you spawn your own world, or heck, when we spawn more horses in this world, they're all going to spawn random attributes, so we won't be able to tell until we actually run them who's fastest. So anyway, let me come back when I've kind of accumulated the fastest and slowest. But yeah, right now that gray with the, I think he had stockings, and his time was, I put it over here so you could, yeah, 7.4, and I think the slowest one so far was like 12.2, I think, or 12.3. So quite a difference. But yeah, I'll come back in a minute when I've got those lined up and we can kind of see at least how far they vary. So see you in a bit. We finished our time trials, and the gray with the white stockings did come out to be the fastest time at 7.4 seconds. And we actually, in our trials, found a slower horse than what I had seen before, which was this little Appaloosa buckskin at a whopping 13.5. So that's the slow time. 7.4 is the fastest time. Lauren, my hubby up there, ran the course just to see for comparison what it would be like for a player's speed, and he ran the course in 17.9 seconds. You can see his time is still there. So running is still slower than the slowest horse, and it is, the fastest horse is more than twice as fast as our running, players running. So yeah, so that's gonna kind of wrap it up for the time trials. You can see in the distance we're working on setting up the jumps, which are going to be the next trial, so we'll be taking a look at that. That'll be a little bit harder because that's a lot more operator control. The running is easy, you hit the button and they go, so there's you know, pretty much no operator error, room for error in that. But the jumping is very much a timing of when you hit the button. So until next time, this is Betsy signing off. Take care.